So, growing up in the 80s, as I did, reading a lot of comic books, there was one in particular that I really enjoyed called What If? What if Captain America had been responsible for forming the Avengers? Or what if Spider-Man never became a crime fighter? So today, I'm going to take you on a journey to the What If universe. And we're going to explore the following question. What if your exit plan is death? Let me explain. I think in today's world, founders are often very concerned about finding funding for their business, and then taking that funding and very quickly building a business to a very high valuation and exiting at the peak, and maybe going on to found another business or perhaps become an investor themselves. So I'm talking about a very different situation, one where founders are thinking in a different way. They're thinking about how they can build a business, they can grow a business organically, and make that business the focus of their life career. They're not thinking about an exit. They're not thinking about what's next. Let me give you a little bit of background. Some of it was already covered. But actually, it was 1995. I left my bio that I sent over. But in 1995, with two friends, I co-founded a business that was designed to help high school students figure out what career might be a good fit for them and better prepare them for life after high school. So today, 24 years later, we are Xello. We're 150 people. We're 20 million in revenue. We have offices in Canada and England. And our focus today is on helping students create a successful future for themselves through self-knowledge, exploration, and planning. We are proof that you can bootstrap a business's success because we have never once taken on capital. Let me explain how that might be possible. That went backwards. There we go. I think, first of all, it has a lot to do with mindset. From the beginning, we were fully committed to going it alone. We never wanted to take on capital, and we didn't think we needed it. We were confident in our abilities to take on the challenges that came our way, and we were really passionate about what we were doing and helping students. So I think that was the first thing. Second, you need the right idea. As one of the earlier speakers alluded to, not every business needs capital, but not every business is a candidate for being a bootstrap business. So you really do need that right idea, and there's a bit of a trick to it. If I'm thinking about what is a candidate for a bootstrap business, I think it needs a few key characteristics. And the first is obviously minimal capital to start. So in our case, the co-founders and I spent a year and a half building our first product and launched that product in 1997, having invested $5,000. So obviously that was very important. You also need customers that are willing to pay for your product right out of the gate, because it's their revenue that's going to fuel your future growth. You still need the opportunity to build barriers to entry. You don't want all of your hard work to vanish overnight when a competitor copies exactly what you've done. And then you don't want limits to your growth. You want an industry and a business that you can see growing into the future. And we felt like that area of careers had a lot of future potential. You also have to be comfortable living on the edge. As we know, technology businesses require a lot of capital to grow, probably more today than ever. So if you're a bootstrap business and you're relying on organic growth, it just seems like organic growth never happens fast enough. But you still want that business to grow. You want to make it the best business you can, and you want to take advantage of the opportunities that come your way. So what that means is that you're going to be investing everything you have right to the limit. And inevitably what that means is things don't go right, you're at risk of losing it all. But you have to be comfortable with that. So where does this leave you? What does this get you if you follow this path? I think most importantly, it allows you to build your business the way that you want to build it. And that means a few things. One, you can focus on your mission and be true to your mission always. Second, you, together with your team, can craft a set of company values that you could use to create a company culture that you live with authenticity. You can live those values every day. You can also treat people as human beings. It sounds silly, but You have the opportunity to do things that may not always be financially justifiable, but you believe that it's the right way, whether that's customers, partners, or your own team. And finally, you get that opportunity to experience success and failure on your own terms. So, I leave you with this. When you have the next great idea, I want you to consider possibly following a different path. One where you pick a problem to solve that you're passionate about, that you can devote your life to. One where you can make your own mark and take fulfillment out of being able to operate that business on your own terms. I promise you, it's a long path, but a very satisfying one. Good luck. Thank you. Thank you.
Questions? Can I ask the first one?
Absolutely.
Yeah. So when you started, was it a conscious decision to bootstrap, and why?
It was a conscious decision for sure. I think times were different, so I have to acknowledge that. But I think there was a very deep desire to have control and not end up in a situation where you lost control, you weren't able to be fulfilling the mission, and you sort of kind of went down a different path. Just a little bit of background in my own previous experience. For 2 years, I worked in investment banking, and it was during the time when companies were being restructured. So this was the early 90s. I saw a lot of the pitfalls, and I think I had a healthy, maybe too much concern about that, but that was one of the things driving the thought process for sure. Yeah.
Hello. How are you?
Hi there. Good.
Good. Just question on, you obviously you said that you decided to go use your own, bootstrap funding. What would you say is your biggest challenge throughout your journey in terms of what's the biggest challenge you face as a bootstrap company?
I don't really think it's very different from what any business faces. I think it's the same challenges, and I think it's different at every stage of growth. I mean, initially you're just trying to find customers. And I think for a lot of businesses, for most of their existence, it's survival. You're focused on survival and you've got to do everything you can. And if you're really, really lucky, you get in a position where instead of always feeling like you're going uphill, you feel a little bit like you're going downhill. But I don't think the challenges are really any different. It's just a slight change in what's going in how decisions are made and where the focus lies. But it's very subtle. Yeah.
Hi, just a similar question. What would have had to happen for you to give up your dream, like over the course of the last 22 years? Can you think of or mention anything that would have forced you to give up your dream?
Death. Yeah. I think for any business, the reality of things not working out. I think that faces all businesses, so it would really only be in those kind of circumstances. But I think what you hope for is that each day, each decision, each action that you take, you're improving that business. So hopefully it's leading to a better place. Yeah.
Last question.
Yeah.
Hi, Kirk with TechCorrect. You guys chose a path and have been obviously successful going down that path, which is a great story to hear, doing it self-funding. I guess my question is, there's always a what if question in the back of your mind. What if we had taken funding? What if we'd taken on capital and given up part of our company, part of our soul? Do you ever look in the mirror and sort of say, what if we had done that? Where would you be now? Is that something that flips in your head?
For sure. I think just personally, I'm someone who's always looking forward, trying not to have regrets. But I think there are many paths. Could it have been more successful? I'm sure there is one alternate universe where we're bigger than Google, but but no, for sure, you think about it, but I don't spend too much time thinking about it. But I think for any business, it's always a case where, well, what do I do now? So we've followed this path for 24 years. Do we make a change? So you have to always be reevaluating what your options are and trying to figure out what's the best thing. I think what drives me more than anything is the mission of the company and accomplishing what we set out to do. And it is a very big mission, so how we get to the end of that journey is still to be determined.
And the real last question, what if Spider-Man hadn't become a crime fighter?
Good question. Good question. Well, it's funny. For my birthday, my son gave me that very issue, so I can tell you later what happened.
Kick, push, kick, push, kick, push, kick, push, coast. So come escape with me, just a rebel looking for a place to be. So let's kick.